Hello, I'm Freddy, buyer at the Wine Society, and I'm joined in our staff canteen today by Pierre Mansour, Director of Wine, and we are going to unveil the brand new bin series, bin 12, which I'm very excited about, Pierre.
Yep.
There's only 2 countries that it can be from, given that you're sat next to me as the buyer of this wine.
So I buy for Spain and I buy for Lebanon, and it is in fact coming from Spain.
Perfect.
And this is a bin series wine, which is a label that the Wine Society developed 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, time flies, yeah.
Yeah, and they're limited releases. They have numbers to them, and once we release one, we don't repeat it. And they're wines that we generally have never released before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's our way of shining a light on an unusual style, grape variety, region, that we think deserves more attention.
Exactly. So we're sitting here on the hottest day on record, and we have, well, a perfectly suitable style of wine, don't we? I think
we do, and
for
I
the
think
weather.
we should crack it open.
I think we should.
So it is perfect for this sort of weather. This is the very, very first rosé wine under the bin series.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Because we've done red, we've done white. Have we done a sparkling yet?
We haven't done a
We haven't done a sparkling yet, so that's still to come at some stage. And this is our first rosé. Spain is a great source of wines for explorers, adventurers, and which is very much what's behind this label. It's all about finding those kind of unusual, esoteric types of wines. And Spain, a bit like Italy, a bit like parts of France, certainly Portugal, has a whole host of indigenous grape varieties that are relatively undiscovered. And this comes from a grape, a very famous grape, not so much, called Mandó, which a colleague actually just saw the bottle on my desk and said every time he reads Mandó, he thinks of one thing, which is Star Wars.
Right, okay.
The Mandalorian.
Oh, okay,
Nothing
nothing
to do with that, but those members,
Star Wars fans.
members who follow Star Wars will know Mandalorian, which is
there you go.
Anyway,
there we go. There's a whole new market.
Yeah, there we go. So this, the grape variety is Mandó. It is a red-skinned grape, and it's a grape variety that's virtually extinct. Actually, finding out information about this grape is really tricky. Even the great book that Francis Robinson has put together on all of the different grape varieties has some information around it, but very, very limited information.
Basically, if a grape isn't in that book, it doesn't exist. That book
much
is like this thick.
Yeah, pretty
everything
much.
in there. Okay.
And this, it's a grape that's grown in Valencia in southern Spain, so really hot climate. Actually, Freddie, ironically or coincidentally, you and I were on the same trip to this vineyard probably 4 years ago. It was before the pandemic.
I think it was.
We did a trip to Valencia to go
2018 or 19,
visit some suppliers and some new growers, and this was
one.
Smelled familiar. This was one of them. It's a chap called Pablo Calatayud, who owns Celler del Roure, which is based in Valencia, and he makes wines essentially only from local grape varieties. So this is an area where grapes like Monastrell and Garnacha work very, very well. He also makes this fantastic white wine from a whole mixture of different grapes. And when we were there, he shared with us a rosé that he makes, that he was kind of experimenting with. And it really took us by storm. We loved it.
It smells absolutely lovely, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's really inviting. There's that, for me, on the nose, there's that classic sort of red fruit that you might expect with rosé, a bit of raspberry, a bit of strawberry, but there's also a really nice kind of peachy quality to it as well. Nice bit of stone fruit that comes through. So perfect drinking on a day like today. Yeah,
perfect. Could be a touch colder.
Sure.
But, you know, it's a hot day, so it's still very, very refreshing. So the beauty of the Mandó grape, what Pablo said, so he makes a red wine from this. The beauty of the Mandó grape in a hot climate like Valencia is it reaches flavour ripeness when quite early.
Okay.
Which means that you can pick this quite early before sugar levels have got really high. So you can make a red wine or a rosé wine with ripe flavours but with not too high alcohol. So this is just 12% alcohol.
Great, lovely.
It's a dry style of rosé, and it's also a rosé that's not trying to copy other famous rosé styles.
This is really quite unique. I mean,
the colour, it's slightly sort of orangey.
It's got a slightly kind of copper note to the colour,
yeah.
But even on the nose, it's a really expressive style of rosé, isn't it? I mean, it's got plenty of personality, but what's also nice about it is it's incredibly easy to drink.
Yes, exactly.
Finding myself taking sip after sip, which is really nice, because as you sort of allude to, there's a lot of rosés around the world now which are perhaps slightly disappointingly trying to be something that they're not necessarily. And this is really authentic.
Really authentic, and it's made to be drunk young. So this is 2021 vintage. It's just been bottled. It's a Spanish style of rosé that is. It's not an oak aged, so it's got no oak, nothing masking that lovely floral, fresh sort of fruitiness. But what Pablo really believes in is aging in amphora, which are sort of these big clay jars called tinajas in Spain. And the reason he loves to use these is because they retain that lovely freshness. The one other thing, just before we wrap up, I did want to point out, which I think members of the wine site will be interested in, is two things. One, the glass that we've used for this is not the traditional glass you'd normally see a pink wine in, where you can see the colour. And actually, this type of glass has a better impact on the environment, because clear glass has to be made from virgin glass. You can't use recycled glass.
Okay.
And then the other element members will notice is we've got no capsule for this wine. That wasn't intentional. It's simply due to the fact that there is issues in Europe around getting hold of capsules.
Sure, yeah.
We wanted to get the wine here as quickly as possible because of freshness. And just to reassure members, capsules have no impact on the quality of the wine. It's purely sort of for the dressing of the bottle. So you'll see that the photos, when you order the wine, it has no capsules at all. But it's a delicious wine, isn't it?
It's absolutely delicious. Yeah. Lovely. Well, Pierre, thank you very much. I'm really enjoying this. I might have to top up in a sec.
Yeah.
If you're watching this while tasting the same wine, do comment below and let us know your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you. Meanwhile, cheers to you, Pierre, and cheers to the bin series.
Cheers. Thanks, Freddy.
Thank you.